Hey there, PotatoCast fans. Today we're going to be watching the final match of the StimHack 3 Core Tournament organized by Fighting Walloon. Today we have Hidden Away going up against dlai817. I'm not sure how your name is pronounced, so I'm going to call you dlai, and I hope for the best. So this should be an interesting set of games, and we'll get right to it. Okay, so we see dlai is on Chaos Theory, and Hidden Away, HOA, is on Wayland. No big surprises there. Wayland has a big economic advantage in the core set and has a decent set of ice. Atlas is great. You often get a chance to score it and sets you up for punitive kills. So we see him getting off to a good start with a Beanstalk and icing R&D with the Enigma. Chaos Theory's game plan here is probably going to be to set up an econ and hope to basically lock down the remote and use central pressure through these events like Maker's Eye that you see here. Whereas Hidden is going to be in a really good spot if they can rush out the first one or two agendas and set up a situation where they will threaten to score or a punitive. And we also see that they've got 2 Trick of Light in hand, which is a great way for them to close out the game. So they can use some advanceable ice, such as this Hadrian's Wall they've just drawn, as a way to bank advancement counters and then use that to finish off the game if they're remote locked. So Hidden has a good chance right here to rush this Project Atlas behind this Hadrian's Wall. Because it's going to be pretty much impossible for dlai to score to get in there unless they have an inside job. So he holds back and just kind of baits the run. And by putting that melange in there, sets himself up to potentially, jump way ahead in terms of credits. When the HQI goes down, Hidden luckily doesn't get the Atlas scooped, and that means that the pressure's on and they have to get this Atlas out of their hand. So they go ahead and use the shipment from Kaguya and advancement to set up for an over-advanced Atlas, which is going to put them in a really strong position if they can pull it off. So dlai has been digging and setting up. Probably needs to be focused more on getting their breakers down than on support cards like Scrubber right now. But, the Scrubber is, paying off for trashing stuff out of HQ, so that's not nothing. Now they've seen the Tricks of Light. They know that they're in a bit of a tight spot. So, here the play for Hidden, I think, is, charge up the Hadrian's Wall, and then they have, 2 guaranteed scores with Atlas token for Atlas and Trick of Light. They managed to top deck Atlas, so that's even better. Just got it out there. And now Hidden is really pulling away on this one. So dlai has a kind of limited option here. Basically, they have to start hitting R&D and hope to rip the first or the last Atlas in order to win. They actually would have ripped that Atlas if they had been able to get in there. So, he didn't know what was on there, but it turns out that, if you'd installed Gordian, click Magnum Opus, and then run R&D, he would have, a shot at basically forcing Hidden to either, let him steal it, surprisingly enough, or to force Hidden to burn the Atlas counter to pull the last Atlas to hand and, get threatened with a HQ interface. So that was, that was a great start for Hidden. Clearly, top decking those Atlases when he did was huge. That was probably the most efficient way you could get to 7 points. By scoring the hostile, scoring the over advanced Atlas, and then top decking and immediately scoring the next 2 Atlases. So, good game. Not really sure what all dlai could have done to deal with that, other than at the very last minute they're recognizing that his out was to hit R&D. So Mixing up a little bit, we've got PE, which is cool. I think that PE is probably the second strongest corp in this format. Um, Decides to keep a hand that has a couple pieces of ice, trap, and a Ronin. Hidden pitches back the hand that was all pictures of Chaos Theory in exchange for a slightly more balanced hand. And so, I think that this is the PE is in a cool place because they have sufficient econ with Celebrity Gift to credibly set up a punitive Counter-Strike play. And so between their ID ability and punitive Counter-Strike, and also false lead being available, you can set up situations where if the runner scores, they're going to take the PE net damage. You can eat their clicks with false lead, and then they're left with not enough cards in hand to survive the punitive. At least that's how I like playing PE in this format. You can also go kind of a more Glacier style. But judging from the punitive in hand and the June bugs, looks like it's going to be a mix of advanceable stuff, traps, and killing them. So double punitive is looking pretty tasty here. Basically, if just cracks off the punitive immediately. I probably would have. I think this is defensible, depending on how many punitives he has in the deck. Getting a chance here to either get a value hit that takes out the Magnum Opus, or putting him in a position where he has to spend an entire turn clicking for credits, and really needs this to get the Magnum Opus out is a good pressure play. But I think that without without some other threat that dlai is making, like following that punitive with installing an agenda behind a piece of gear check ice, it might not have been worth the use of the card for dlai. At any rate, indexing is great multi-access, especially against Jinteki, because that he's going to have a couple of snares in here. There's no breach domes in this format, so like a Maker's Eye is a little bit less dangerous than it is in Standard, but it's still no fun to hit a snare when you're not ready for it. And you can get in so cheaply with the Gordian Blade right now that there's really no reason not to take a shot at it. So it looks like, yep, he basically wanted to draw up to avoid losing the Magnum Opus. Still a little bit behind in terms of credits, but it's okay for now. All right, so with the false lead scored, dlai needs to get some money together, because Magnum Opus, if dlai doesn't keep pressure up, then Hidden can spend a couple of turns just cranking on Magnum Opus and get up to the point where it's really not practical for dlai to threaten a punitive. But at any rate, looks like he's setting up with the Ronin. So this is interesting, seeing the Data Raven in dlai's hand and also the closed accounts. So it looks like he is also hoping that between just kind of the overall taxing ability of Data Raven, and the possibility of the runner hitting a snare and choosing not to clear the tag. So if they're not on a lot of resources, you don't have much reason to clear a tag. But closed accounts is that reason. So it's cool that they found the influence to splash both of those cards in their deck. And Nisei goes down with the expectation that it will be scoreable behind a couple of pieces of ice. Now we'll see if Hidden decides to try, either the inside job, well, probably the inside job, to make this happen. So I believe that's a Himitsu Baku. No, actually, no. Thanks, Past Doug, for mousing over the useful stuff. That was super cool of you. This is pre-recorded, so I can't check it because I'm a dummy. Cool. So it gets the Nisei scored, hits the indexing, which is pretty bad for Hidden. If I'm in dlai's position right now, I'm feeling pretty alright. He's probably good to charge up the Ronin as far as he wants to. Hidden hasn't shown any inclination to check it and figure out what's going on there. He might think that it's a June bug, and so putting one more advancement on it there so that it can act as a bank for multiple tricks of light would be pretty cool, giving him the chance to fast advance a 5-3 with install, trick, advance, which would put him in a really strong position. So I think, at this point, dlai is looking pretty good. It's going to be a while before Hidden can reliably get into either of these remotes, either R&D or this remote, and he's got a strong fast advance setup if he chooses to put another advancement on that Ronin. Credit advantage right now is working for him, so he's likely to be able to threaten the punitive unless Hidden spends some time clicking for credits. This is kind of the situation I found myself in a lot as runner, where you just didn't really have the clicks to threaten to move quickly enough to keep up enough econ to break ice and defend against punitive. Like, in a sense, that's like how the game should be, that there should be this tension and the runner is trying to keep up. I think that the balance might be a little bit off in the 3 core set environment, where the runner econ just doesn't keep up with the corp econ, and so you're left choosing one or the other. So I don't know. Maybe I'm also bad at this game. Who knows? I mean, I'm probably not great at this game. So battering ram is down, and now we've got the full suite of tools online. Pipeline kind of sucks, but it's better than eating a archer. And being on dinosaurs helps a little bit. So at this point, Hidden might be all right if they can start. If they can actually get some of these steals and steal points one at a time to avoid punitive. So I'm going to try to pay attention here carefully, even though it's double speed. Because I think that dlai actually has a kill here if they so choose. Because Hidden's on 5 cards. There's a Hokusai grid and an agenda in here. So that'd be 2 net damage, which puts him on 3 cards. And then next turn, he could punitive and Ronin for a kill. So I think I would probably have res the Hokusai grid, not before this encounter. Yeah. But after. And it would have been, I don't know. It's a little dicey because you would be poor enough that it would be hard to guarantee you would get the punitive. I don't know what that innermost ice is, but that might have been able to keep him out. or might have been able to tax him sufficiently to get him down to the punitive level. At any rate, yeah. So instead, he chooses to set up the security force, takes a net, steals it, takes a net, and that should be game. Yeah. So, yeah. So I think looking at it, that was the safer line for dlai. It potentially opened up a situation, yeah, where he could have gotten pinged away and lost on smaller accesses. But it was looking pretty good for dlai there either way. So anyway, good game, well played, and it's a tough day to be a teenage hacker in the future. Sanjay made that comment at some point this game or in these matches. I don't know if it's going to show up on the side or not. So good call, Sanjay. It's tough being a teen hacker in the future. So 2 corp wins. One of them on points. One of them punitive. Oh, sorry. One of them Ronin flatline. And we'll see how this last one turns out. So yeah, overall, I think that even without like a tag-based kill strategy in the 3 core format, punitive is enough of a threat, and the econ is strong enough that I think it's actually worth finding room for a crash space in your runner deck here, even if it's not, you're rarely going to be clearing tags, but being able to prevent a couple of meat damage goes a long way in terms of preparing for these situations without having to just have a credit advantage. That being said, criminal is for sure the weakest faction in 3 core, partially because like Reyna can credibly set up an underworld contact economy with her 1 link and just needing to get like 1 Dyson mem chip out. Has good built-in econ denial to help reduce the threat of punitive Counter-Strike, and then has Data Sucker and Ice Carver to help support their barrier breaking strategy. So I think that it's a little bit more variable playing out of Reyna, just because you don't really have enough draw to reliably set up your engine very quickly. If you get it up quickly, then you're good to go, but if you don't, then it's kind of a slog. Shaper clearly has Magnum Opus, as well as... fuck, did it freeze? God damn it. This fucking thing. Son of a fucking bitch. Alright. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the normal speed recording. God. Piece of shit. Well, it wouldn't be Potato Cast without something going horribly wrong. I was wondering why it's taking them so long to start their last match. Alright, let's see. Where are we? Great news. Okay. There we go. Let's mute that. I hope this last one works. Okay, great. Everything is good. Don't worry, everything is going perfectly. I just wanted to take a brief interlude to swear profusely. All right, cool. So this looks a lot like our first match. Hidden away, corping. Corps are doing well today. Hackers, not so much. So let's see how this goes. So in the previous game with these two IDs, dlai kind of suffered by spending a little bit too much time setting up with the scrubbers and stuff, and kind of not balancing the amount of draw with the amount of econ they had to support using those cards, and getting a little bit jammed up. So, this hand doesn't look. I mean, it's okay because you've got the diesel. But if that diesel doesn't hit econ, then it's going to be a bit of a rough start. And hidden is clearly, off to a good start with the green level and the hedge in hand. So if I'm in hidden's position, I would probably hedge and then put Hadrian's over HQ. But he chooses to just go for a rush. The reasoning for me saying that is that I want to hang on to that Elizabeth Mills, don't want to give up a 5-3 immediately, and being able to score the hostile on turn 2, and then use that to either res the archer, or at least give the threat of resing the archer so you can score a Pyrrhec behind it. Feels like a good start. But instead, he boldly chooses to leave it open. I think if I was in dlai's position, I would have dieseled first and then decided to either Maker's Eye the open R&D, which I think is a good play, or just work on setting up econ. Yeah, so here comes early Maker's Eye. Normally good for a rip. Cool. Gets one of the atlases out of the game, which is helpful because they were. It's a pretty good agenda. If you're the runner, you prefer to see them in your score area than in the corpse. Yeah, so here, icing R&D to prevent against further shenanigans. Getting the archer up and putting the Pyrrhec down here seems good. They either get to res the archer with the hostile, or they can, if they can get this scored uncontested, then using Pyrrhec to res archer is it's a pretty strong power move. So I didn't see what the innermost ice was. It looks like it is something that's going to end the run. That's right, Hadrian's. So, so at this point, dlai, he doesn't know it because it was installed and not installed advanced. But if he doesn't pretty quickly get into server 1, then that's going to be a real that's going to be a real bear to get into in the future. Yeah, so he's digging hard for his breakers and just not finding them, which is a bummer. We're looking for an inside job, or anything really. It's like where he stands right now. I don't remember if he's seen an archer or not, but he's got to know that they're in there and that the threat is live with a hostile. So Mimic, even with personal touch, is not going to cut the mustard on its own. Yeah, I'm not sure why Hidden chose to ice gain credit in advance instead of just score out the Pyrrhec. Maybe he wanted to leave a click available so that he can install something else in that server next turn. So like score this. Oh, okay, that's right. He wanted to get the toll booth resed, I guess. That's fine. I might have rather. Oh, I think that's fair. Because he really doesn't want to lose on central accesses, and saving the A credits by getting the toll booth resed seems pretty good. He's still this way. Also, he's on 4 points, and so install advance, and server 1 threatens to win the game. So yeah, okay, I can get down with that. He knew that Ice Wall wasn't going to stand up once Battering Ram comes out. Wanted to make a little progress there. Yep, so he's getting his Battering Ram ready. It's cool that with Dinosaurus and the personal touch in hand, he has the ability to make Mimic into a crazy good archer breaking machine. So yeah, so that's actually looking that play with the Pyrrhec is looking like a really good choice by Hidden, because that server 1 isn't. I mean, it's definitely solid, at least until the Battering Ram comes down, but it's not close to impenetrable. So I think that was a melange that went down in server 1. So Hidden's gonna have a chance here. Okay, goes for the cleaner score. So dlai can get in here. I think he can get in there. I didn't really count it up. Oh, okay, he can't get in there. Okay. So yeah, so that's gonna be a game then, because Hidden was able to score out. So, great games to both players. I hope that you enjoyed my profanity-laced tirade in the middle of the game. That was fun for everybody, I hope. Yeah, really good games. Well played. It's tough out there for runners in the 3-core environment. I think that the Corp has, a really legit scoring plan out of Wayland and Jinteki, and can also threaten the kill. And that kind of two-pronged attack is common to good decks. And the runners are just a little bit pinched for times in terms of setting up their economy, and pressuring the corp. So I think that if self-modifying code or clone chip were available, so you could use stim hacks to really crank your setup speed, then runner would be in a much better position in this meta. But as it is, I think that kind of the best bet is get a couple crash space in your deck so that you're not as spooked by the punitive threat, and be aggressive out there. There's not too many face checks that will end your day. So thanks everybody for watching Potato Cast. This has been real fun. Thanks to Fighting Walloon for setting up another great tournament, and thanks for everybody that participated in it. So have a good day.